Bida. When you sit on TV3 to speak, we don't see you as a unique individual. When you sit on any platform to talk, we don't see you as what you are saying is not something that we cannot verify. Because in the past, hardly could we verify anything because access to information was difficult. How many people had money to even buy data to access the internet? How many people were able to freely go and ask questions for AI to give you exact answers? How many people had the time to go to library to go look for a specific book to go and read on a specific topic? But today, you don't need to have a book. You need to just have something, a gadget in your finger, in your hand, and then do what? And search or research or ask questions. And that is why the so-called elites, as we speak today, it looks like they are fading out. They are not fading out. They are there. The problem is they are getting competitors. The people they did not respect, the people they underestimate their intelligence, they have become their competitors. In terms of saying, sometimes he does some things, he makes some statements, he does some analysis, and you're like, that is how it is. When we call evolution, when we talk evolution, when there's change, when there is change in wisdom, when there's change in how we consume information around us or in our environment, now there's this evolution whereby things that we appreciated and were scared of, we start to see those things as part of our thinking. And there are people today you watch them on TV and you're like, but this analysis and this statement, it's basically jandam. And that is the level of intelligence and change in the way we get access to information. It is a metiha. Sometimes I'm on my show, I'm talking, I'm speaking on something. In the next 2 seconds, somebody has already cut that piece and started sharing on their page. That is the new world. So you cannot say you are the repository or you are the headquarters of intelligence or wisdom. Knowledge is everywhere. Nobody can intimidate. It does not matter your degrees. It does not matter school awako. A young man can question you on something he believes or knows after researching that you are lying about it. In terms of they are not so exceptional again. You see right now, you see them, you watch them, and you're like, these people, initially we thought they were that smart, not knowing they are not that smart. It is not them. It is technology. It is the way we have embraced it. It is the way we have brought you along. And the Bawumia kasa, and some people you thought, Nana Dankwe Kufuado in 1998, 1999, 2000, 2001, 2000, Ekufuado kasa, the whole Ghana has a Jimmy. When Ekufuado speaks, when he was speaking in those times or those days, all because one, Ekufuado them created then this gas around them. Say ya call school, near papa ni way, nim no winim. But time everybody na expose you say na say Ekufuado kura we Jimmy Chen tafo. Enye Ghana tafo, in tafo e wo more mass. Say Ekufuado Jimmy said mass and tafo. Because as we sit here, in Tafo a war more mass, as time went on, there are some people now you respect who say, we will cross so many millions and changes. She'll be this or Safmafu. And the Safmafu tour now or Casa Alpha economics one, and also Oka economy one. So we can say, how did we make this guy a finance minister? Send our Safmafu Jinaho, not so Safmafu Kasa. Say, how did Osafmafu become a finance minister? And will be to say a free yakoto. Now Ojinaho Kasa. How did this guy become a Greek minister for 8 years? So there's so many people in the system now. When you listen to them, you ask yourself, say, then your man go for a chance. And the Bawumia Kasa, Bawumia to me Kasa, you tweet and you questions.
Ladies and gentlemen, you will recall that I stated in 2014 that if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. That was true then, and it is true now. It is 100% correct. So if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. But it is warped logic to jump from that to a conclusion that if there is depreciation in your currency, then the fundamentals must be weak. Do you understand the logic? It is very warped logic. If the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. But if the exchange rate moves, you cannot jump to that conclusion that the fundamentals are weak. That defies
so you see, and they also tell you, I say, how did we end up with this guy as the vice president? And we said, we're in the bit to make changing Ghana economic fortunes. Ultimately, Samira Bawumia. Wako Gimpa. One should and master on anything. Regular student passing through. Your son near training wa near any say K and we Gimpa. Into Sia Ushap Samira no cabro for whistle. Oh yeah, no one say oh yeah, first lady, second lady, and oh yeah, no to first class jet, no a kunkumbaja kwasramo. Oh, is naturally. Oniminyansa yade mine. So it is not about the original way, and you know, who has Samira about me, so Nyansa. Obaji Utiena or Casas, girl, ya no Casa full niba, but man, the practical thing to do, ultimately clinic. On Tiasie say, I don't also yen hoofing, na Oma Akwarabi Enya Enkwa. On Tiasie, inti, we have allowed such foolish people in our space for too long. It's the same thing. Bawumia Tisana Irena. Usha Samira with chidden pons. Uncle Higempa. Please don't do that. You know, I'll see you. Oh, don't worry. You know, I don't come out in the evening. I'll see you at later tonight. Oh, Samira Bravo. And you know my husband, let me tell you, when it comes to economy, Sao Bana so Safu play ko India so Kunkumbaja for why dumb and onam why dumb. That is what we talk about every day. Until we created these people out of nothing. They are daft, they are ignorant. They are foolish people we are allowed to go through the mill without questioning their level of intelligence. Because it's not you being married to a politician like Bawumia, Samira. Marrying Bawumia makes Samira intelligent. No. And as Samira speaking English. Now Samira saw nya Ghana ni. It is what is so unique about it? Because when you brofoka on Tichi Papa, when you brofoka on Timfante Papa, when you brofoka on Tiwangara Papa, child focus on it. Into the only option so become brofo into Samira to brofo. What makes Samira intelligent? Samira niye ne action the chesa with Jimmy because as a second lady no full played and free hand ko India. So okwa ko kunkumbaja and the low level of intelligence. Into Nigeria is a kitchen bob. Somebody will say someone say where did this Samira term Samira on charm you? Me jujum yana ya yana ya. And you sit there, who will be to say those times at Ghana, hey, Kennedy Japan, yes, Kennedy Japan, dear, or no, now American or T, and a Kennedy, dear, no Niminyansano, or your businessman, Kennedy Japan, or first or Casa, now man for two, you know, or Cotranded tour, or to meet Jimmy no one, hey, way, or Niminyanso, Kennedy Japan to be bien and no Cassi.
And that is what I stand for. Country leaves the name China for me and experimental leaves have protein and good for poultry feed. We are going to use cassava leaves, mix it with maize and soya bean and produce poultry feed in Ghana. Thank you.
Last also obesi hotel we pum. Se also or the Chinese phobia transi we say banche hono or the fry bra ye betu feed poultry. Sanyoma we nyina not wo. We jani nyina ton akoko force. Sanyoma ni nyina o se ade na wo ho a wodim. Sa for 8 years ko 4 time na Kennedy Japan wo ho. Okache se ko 4 time no we sketching obia ekufu at the time we sketching obia banche hono no ye de fra ebro edema ede ye poultry feed no we san ho no woto enkoko free China. Okoto nkoko free China enkoko a ya packing 8 months egu dem no asoa begu Ghana se montetemwe obekọ de fie no oye body ampesie di aden a me the doctor say my surgery ntima me ndi akoko fools. And these are the people we sat in Ghana and we were listening to. Wa champion free ocean hotel e de aba bedru bancha haban or de be fidi poultry otena Ekufuado abam one district one factory otena Ekufuado abam nya contract Ekufuado abam nyina contract ogie nyina energy contract or to bust or to Ghana gas or to dear board. So he never thought of this. Or free power, I'll say, oh, bancha habain. Bancha habain, or the free bura, you bet to be a nyankuko. Kwa the chrome dumpim or your MP for 23 to 27 years. When to me for bancha habain, you bura man, you crow before, omo munyankuko, and I say, when biankuko potri. And I say, potri, and for mat, you crow before mebunu, say, omofanya diane mankuko, and kwasiasam. These are the people. And they take advantage of the people. These are the people. And we hail these people. Where there or a businessman. That word businessman, what does it mean? Obi Obegacho Ghana so a businessman be or a crown for. Anybody. Say Ushia Obi or Ghana. Ushia Broni. No, we say, what do you do? Now, because I'm a businessman, he sees you as a criminal. There's nothing like I'm a businessman. What is businessman? What does it mean by, what do you mean by businessman? Also, such Trump not a business. Trump, he was into real estate. He didn't just call himself, say, I'm a businessman. What do you mean by I'm a businessman? When you say you're a businessman, you're a thief. The reason is that you try to go into other places you are not supposed to go to. You infiltrate. You use some influence to get some things indirectly which you know are not legitimate. Until there's nothing like I'm a businessman. So because I'm a politician, businessman or ye. Bawumia by or say or ye economist. And the engineer who say on your economist, papa wa bon. Bawumia cannot be a better president because in the first place, ni Sivia, a maninya the Iranimates our MPP mu ebe vice president na or your economist. Or by your economist no, ye sika semina say ye into be a way Jimmy Obeto Obama Bawumia se be president. Kennedy Japan the MPP 16 years before Ekufuado. Also a businessman, politician. Businessman, what specifically does he do? I take contract. Taking contracts and making sure you making money out of government does not make you a businessman. So people when you guys say I'm a businessman, I am a dian see video what's the jajo. It's Kennedy like that, or a cotton, because he does not come with any specification. It does not come with any background to be a say wait there, wait now you're good work because I'm so a businessman. Any fool can be a businessman. I'm turn red or PZ. Emma boys ninyam for so I'm a businessman and woman. So be to PZ eton red. Obi to PZ eton air codeine, obi to PZ eton coca, or a businessman because for the cocaine 2 tables no be tar or yam faso. Into any fool can be a businessman. Obi can say I am an economist. Now the Ghana shed in some now for 8 years. Ghana see can jumping from 3 to 17 now. Or a Jimmy 4 on your economist is a liar. And say a Jumani a flower, you'll be sacked. Into why should we even entertain such comedians? Such clowns, people who just say things because Omojin say a Jimmy into in their life, they have created that impression. They have created that impression. I'm some Ghanaians think say where we answer because when I sit and somebody like Kennedy Japan stands before me and says, I'm a businessman. You're a businessman means nothing to me. Criminals call themselves businessmen because if you're a businessman, you should have one business that you are good at.
I have a receipt here. Namoshia Ghana for mentality. Why Ghanaian businesses don't succeed? I am building the biggest cold store in Africa, not in Ghana, in Africa. 31,000 tons cold store. Biggest. I'm saying Angola, and will be what 30,000. 31,000 tons cold store. Obi obefi se me dwama nu mekiro baby o. So who call?
They also motorway kwan so no.
No, and we are steel plant.
Okay.
Yeah, nyuma but my head my din ni nyina ye gban na me de akyerɛkyerɛ. Yes, ye betra na ye dwa enum ni ekɔ. I want to make a difference in society. Until Obi ba o now nkoye president. You don't have to be president to effect change in people's lives.
Yeah.
With him, let me go straight to this. Opinion. Mempese ubeka se bia me di tro. So, timpese wo ready ade receipt we. Time ye tuaye.
Emphasis. Omke cansam. You don't have to be a businessman to affect people's life. Otia and oka just to abamame. Na menkosi hotel we pum. Na Bawumia so ni Jimmy nam ha. You know something, and the economy and digital. These people are crazy. All of them are crazy people. By the champo ko busana, I'm also a businessman. I have built hotel. It's yentam Ghana mau. Yentam Ghana mau because you have built a hotel. Now by the champo Jimmy also to wuremu ho. Or to wuremu ho. I'm the president. Adanya, makosi hotel wo wuremu. It's yentam Ghana and shey nsem. This is our problem as a nation. There are people who have gone through the mill to get to where they are. When you pick somebody like John Dramani Mahama, he's an in and out politician. He makes policies. He thinks through policies. He oversees policies and makes sure policies are implemented. So, or you're in and out politician. John Mahama has never stood anywhere else to tell you, say, I started my career as a businessman and I bought and sell. No. John Mahama always sits back and think for businesses. Think about policies. Thinks about solutions that a businessman, somebody in Ghana, those solutions can help the person's life to be better. You're in and out politicians. These people you are seeing are comedians who are lying. Kennedy, Bawumia, they have nothing under their sleeve. Brian Champo has nothing. He is capitalizing on some ignorant people to say, Messi hotel in T. Now in the Padudo Messi hotel or Ghana. Do you know the number of people who have built hotel in Ghana? And there are even Ghanaians who have built hotel outside Ghana. So we should just hand over Ghana to you because your friend Brian Champo Messi hotel. Managing a hotel and managing a country. Massa. Yet to come Brian Champo. Now buying also and so snit. Your pension sika hotel na also tonebe any dia. Such a person, Dani Ghana ashen in sim. Wouldn't be Ghana bay. Time na only control crano or your minister kekeno. Anka your pension hotels in Kotoni in Amana bay any dia. Sakwa na mono on worry young woye. It is anka in Sakaya, wouldn't be Uncle Bay. And we sit in Ghana and we entertain all these nonsense, all because in Kofobe create some bibiato system. And we say, oh, where mu die, the where mu die no more Jimmy. The where mu die. They are all people who are what? Foolish. As Kennedy said, these are all opportunists. They want to use you to make more money. And then the difference between John Mahama and the rest. And then the difference between John Mahama and the rest. John Mahama's job is to think, make policies for it to have a positive effect in the lives of the people. And then your politics, and then your reasoning, and then your managing. And then the difference between John Mahama and Ekufuado. And then Mahama free power, no. Majority of you were like, what kind of governance the Ekufuado do enemy? They in Ghana econo. Because he does not understand that you as a leader, you as a politician, you need to think, make laws, implement policies, let it have effect, positive effect in the lives of the people. But when you bring a businessman does not think through policies. A businessman is always thinking business, and his whole thing is about profit. Who is the beneficiary of the profit? He needs to profit before you profit. And the finance minister, the finance ministry was a profit-making venture. It was an institution that was built around him. And every deal or enterprise insurance, they had a percentage in it. It was business as usual. It was business first. It was not policies to affect your life. It was not thinking decisions that would change the lives of the people. MPP they were in power for 8 years. You were still asking what is going on because nobody was thinking. Nobody was doing the thinking. Nobody was implementing the thinking. Nobody was making sure after implementing the thinking was making a positive impact in your life. Their idea was, it was always about buy and sell and make money. Until they were throwing words around. One district, one factory, one constituency, one dam. Because if you look at all the policies under Bawumia and Ekufuado, they were all business venture policies. And those business venture policies, it was to benefit themselves because they create companies around it and then they take money out of you. And the offer about Bawumia and say, Paulugu Dam, how is it benefiting the people? Or because he does not know. Over $12 million gone. There's a difference between a manager, a politician, and somebody who calls himself an economist. You being an economist does not mean you'll be a good manager. Somebody who can implement better policies for it to have better effect on the people, for you to be able to think through it and to say in the future, what decision I've taken or decision I've taken today will make an impact. And see, there's a vast difference between the NPP and the NDC, the president we have today and the clown we had yesterday. Now, what was I doing? Near to Kromhana Bawumia, I catch a Ghana for you say Saudi keen to build medical university, 42 SHS in northern region. Mahamudu Bawumia. Or catch say, the king of Saudi Arabia, see a medical university, 2019. 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. 6 years, we didn't see any Saudi king come to build any medical facility. No Saudi king. This guy calls himself a leader. He's a liar. Near to Kroma, or say Saudi king is see a medical university we are. Obesi 42 senior high schools. Before that, now Bawumia catch Ghana for Onyekufu Adakache say Omobabe see 350 senior high schools in their first year. Mr. S, get me the document and get me the video. Nana Kufu and Bawumia Jina Ghana for him catch say yani MPP for including Kennedy, including Bride Champon, including Kentry, including Kwabena Japan, including Bawumia. We are going to build 350 senior high schools in 2016. In 2015, that is what they told us. We should give them the power. Bawumia and Kufuado, Kennedy, Japan, Bride Champon, they belong to the same family. They told us, say, "Yam for 2 million our education, yam no 350." As we sit here for 8 years, this businessman could not build one school. Now you see, I'm trying to let you see the difference between Sanko Fowe, the NPP. Whoever represents the NPP is a liar. They are businessmen. They are just making money. They don't care about you. And it's not draw some line. Yeah, crash for party. We are party of elites. They wanted to create that impression in your head. Send a bear obi to bekwaya. No, who say MPP nibi wa kra, who is on nyansa. Into if you are cry no ba bekwaya kase. Yani one cry, yeah, policies ma was yo yate. No, I don't Jimmy to bekwaya. So obi to mention Souta or ba or say, hey, a crash for no one crying. Into Jimmy to say sticker or swatting cry, eh, yeah, ejumamaye. When we creating line be able to, the people cannot cross it. The people cannot cross it. Sanka Bawumia enyi napo sani running meter. Na mumudu do nimsa napo ye Jimmy anameboa until he was given the room to express himself. They have 1,000 of them in the MPP. They are just businessmen. They make money out of you people. They are liars. And you see, sometimes the reason why they hate me is that when I sit here and I speak on the issues, I bring you along. I make you see the difference between these liars and why we are not supposed to hand over the country to these liars. 2019 Bawumia ka asase mwecho inkremoni a wodo mama bofoma wo kanokre. Bawumia is a selfish liar. One na yere no. Enti Adam and Eve omumie ne dia beduru hande Bawumia ne eye Samira. Ogotena na Samira to work asa I saw economist. Bawumia and Samira Samira ka so ye campaign about Bawumia obeje Samira ye economist because they kunu di no eno bi no odi atrona ni kunu master no eno na bi na wa master into betena so you know my husband he's an economic waste kid. You know when the economy, because it is not about being too intelligent, it's about being confident in your lies. Enti obane sua Bawumia Samira sua Bawumia when it comes to opportunities and creating opportunities for people. Onim nyansa na obetum ya anything obedi first lady for a second lady for 8 years. We cannot still see her impact in Ghana. And then Bob Samira dia na okay kunkum bajia dia na okay wear makeup dia na okay wa party room. She does not represent anything. She does not symbolize anything. We cannot sit and say Samira be okay no. It is only makeup that will come into your head. But when I mention say okay, Lordina Mahama. Or say, Lordina Mahama. Concurrenza. Lordina Mahama there. Okay, Lordina Foundation. A Juma wa ye. Ye nim the clinics in the hospital. And they are bought a year dien. A year kufo. A kufo the year. A year dien. Rebecca Dia. Then okay. Rebecca. Rebecca Foundation enya one ne mba ne beti foundation mbe wia isika Rebecca Foundation won kai na Rebecca Kufuor nim na you know the people, they don't represent anything. It is about them, it's about their selfish interests. Ubo eya Kufuor yiridin, she represented something. Ubo Nana Kudedo Adjuma Rawlings, apart from me having my problems with her, allow the Kufuor Dems to enter her family, to destroy her family and destroying her husband, apart from her being too greedy when it comes to political positions, she was very impactful as a first lady in Ghana, one of the most impactful first ladies in Ghana. 31st December Women's Movement, every single community and village in Ghana, a woman was touched. That is the kind of woman we are looking for. John Mahama's wife, go and search on Atamel's wife, her impact when it came to their basic education. Mubina na okoto Ghana around the nation or call school bia na teachers they say omo materials no omo ko find week ebi mbaya MP focus say chalk ni wono. Her impact on basic education primary, her impact. This is what we talk about. Nasanko Fowe, what do they represent? What does Bawumia represent? What does Samira represent? Samira represent Instagram. She represents makeup. She represents the Kunku Baja. What does she represent? Nothing. So why should we hand over a country to people like these who have no responsibility in life?
We plan a rapid and vigorous development of educational infrastructure in the first 18 months of the next MPP government. This will involve the building of 350 new senior high schools from scratch, whilst rehabilitating and expanding existing ones. Since these schools will be spread across the length and breadth of our country, this construction activity will immediately lead to an explosion of employment in all districts of our country.
This is what they told us. This is what they told us. We are waiting. This is what brought Bawumia and Kufuor to power. Omokasombe 350 senior high schools from scratch. He made that statement. And the existing ones on betu, they will expand them and finish them. Hey, Ghana momo. What do they represent? Bawumia represents what? Bawumia represents the first economist or yet 10 year or Sayan Krebonia or Bedi Ghana Swa or Tam dollar free 3 equal to 17. That is Bawumia's hallmark. What does Bawumia represent? Bawumia representing the timer Ghana echo IMF. Abro Gina State Casa, we will never go to IMF. Bawumia represent a politician under his leadership or the head of economic management team. Inflation could do 57. That is Bawumia. He's a failure in everything. He's a failure, a total failure. What does his wife represent? She represents makeups and stylish clothes. That is what we remember about Samira for. What do we remember Samira for? Why would you me? Samira. Hey, Nentadi. Hey, Ntuma Oshadi. Samira does not represent intelligence. She does not represent helping vulnerable people. She does not represent a mother. She does not represent what we want as Africans. But you can mention Lodina Mahama. She represents an African mom. She represents people who are in need, who need help. She represents saving people, women. She represents people who are thinking about the healthcare of Awufo, Apimfo. That is what African women represent. Not makeup, not shiny clothes, not mapamisrim. That is an Instagram lifestyle. So when we are making decisions, we need to understand that decisions are about benefit here in the long term, not decisions that will wash away like makeup on Samira's face. Samira's political life is like makeup. It lasts for about 6 hours. If you wash it away, she goes back to sender. And that is not the kind of woman we need in our politics. That is not the kind of woman we expect to spearhead women in Ghana. We cannot put our women, their future on a platform to say makeup. That is what Samira represents. She represents makeup. You wash it off after every 6 hours. After 6 hours, And that is not what we want. We want a woman who will leave a mark, a woman who will leave a permanent mark, a woman who will build a clinic, a woman who will build a hospital, a woman who will supply medical supplies, a woman who will be there for women, a woman who will represent women. That is what we are looking for. We are not looking for makeup artists who are going to be washed away in 6 hours. That is not what we're talking about. Samira is a back to sender woman. After 6 hours, she's back to sender. Until she puts on makeup. But Samira is a back to sender woman. Now, Mami Jujum. Samira the uncle compete Miss Chad. Now we need bra breno. Ya chechire Ghana. Or per se kasa no for uncle Chad nko compete Miss Chad. Ye ni bra bre wa ha no for concert na mfa free penny so. Now, before I go on, let me postulate the Frans-Pananian dictum.
Before I go on, let me postulate from the Frans-Pananian dictum, which stipulates that the dialectics of reconciling two conflicting ideas is the algebra of revolution. The overbearing intervention of the state government had further exacerbated oporompium and amounting to sadomasochisms. Acrimony and chaos in our community. It was a contumelious stratagem by political jobbers to siphon monies. We suffer what we call political axivia nunan torum. Conclusively, we are a microcosm of the issues in the Niger Delta in the macrocosm. Today, we as a people are stating, Voxe populi, voxe Dei.
Voxe populi, voxe Dei. We as a people are saying the word of God, the people is the word of God. Voxe populi, the voice of the people, voxe Dei is the voice of God. Inti asemno ena me Nigeria nino aka oporompium. We are going to exacerbate to make sure that the Frans-Pananian dictum. They said, you can say, or per se, or can ask some no every French for dictionary, and no friend the Frans-Pananian dictum. Intimate na honka say, akwate brofo, when we some to the Jimmy. Before I go on, let me postulate from the Frans-Pananian dictum. Or see answer na mekasano, mumma mingi bibi free French for dictionary, the Frans-Pananian dictum. It stipulates.
Before I go on, let me postulate from the Frans-Pananian dictum, which stipulates that the dialectics of reconciling two conflicting ideas is the algebra of revolution.
The dialectics of reconciling two conflicting ideas is the algebra of oporompium. He's basically saying that when two people, the dialectic, or see, say, afani afa, etri anko benkromu edin tokwaneba, the dialecting of the okanye. The other person can say, when two opposing sides do not sit to come to a conclusion, there's always confusion. And no cannot say the end.
Before I go Frans-Pananian dictum, which stipulates that the dialectics of reconciling two conflicting ideas is the algebra of revolution. The overbearing intervention of the state government had further exacerbated oporompium.
The overburdened interference of the state government has exacerbated oporompium. Or say a bind now didn't sa efra eyedien eye omainimun sem dodwono amadien ama omaina jegu the state of oporompium. Now say ya church ba entwe abino insa or the one semu eye Nigeria memuno and then ama omaina esin kokode and the state of oporompium kokode. The state of oporompium into okode nimuno unte and out to Kevin and it
before I overbearing intervention of the state government had further exacerbated oporompium and amounting to sadomasochisms.
And amounting to that's what bang. Sacodomacomisms. Amounting to again French Nigeria for cry. There's some kind of and you rock a family.
The overbearing intervention of the state government had further exacerbated oporompium and amounting to sadomasochisms.
Amounting to sadomasochisms, sadoma, any sochisms. Or say, the oma ye ama oman esin kokode esin twitwide ama oman any ehi ahenhan etu akeka ne nsem ene ne fe no sadomasochisms. The oman penifo de omonsa ewurawura oman emu nsensemu etietie no ama oman esin twitwide ama oman eni etutu aka ne nsem ene na ye sadomasochisms. What will be a num? Brofun or Jim Crank Cribia, in Conforto Onimian Sama, and Cometima can simple say, oh, or mind your move, the Imperifonia and yet Mumma Yanka Humbum, na Yamba Abenkrum, Nayan General, and Cometima can say, Bonimusoba Matoria, Nigeria MPP for more Jimmy, Omuko school, into or say, or had a oporompium. Now also calling him or such a bibuha.
Before bearing intervention of the state government had further exacerbated oporompium and amounting to sadomasochisms. Acrimony and chaos in our community. It was a contumelious stratagem by political jobbers to siphon monies. We suffer what we call political axivia nunan torum, into sadomasochisms. Acrimony and chaos in our community. It was a contumelious stratagem by political jobbers to siphon monies. We suffer what we call political axivia nunan torum. Conclusively, we are a microcosm.
Or say, it was a contumelious stratagem by political jobbers. Or see, na any down any day it's a bonny a politicians are omano endi binim endi ember game and when you brad yes woba on a friend contumelious stratagem a yetrimu poa I say one number afa say omo de be say mine a political jobbers a politicians omon kan kura ogina ha no aka fe ade cha no aka fo oti say Bawumia political jobbers omano omu jemu a insemhunu neba into say it was a contumelious stratagem. It was a contumelious stratagem. Now say omu bomutirimu po say at the bonnie on machichire edi amagana edi aswaye no eno na ade political jobbers ayo politicians are omadwene enye den enko benkrum eno say to siphon monies omutirimu po every 2012 13 14 15 16 to say MPP4 and now we imagine say omu de omu sabe boy sikem yakata siphon and to say sebio wayan krakra de nam gum now do sab boom you siphon the money, siphon monies and osaka political asylum the nan torom or see omu say political asylum the nan torom omu yankofo bia omu chinchine sa bibi te sa gabi omu ye nipa bia oyo omu hye eye wudie krono insekuo ene nyoma ya omu ye edema oman emma eyemdwa omu ene ye frɛ no eye contumelious stratagem that led to political jobbers siphoning our monies. That is called political asylum ninantorum. Now so we'll finish it in some no kind na
conclusively by political jobbers to siphon monies. We suffer what we call political axivia nunan torum. Conclusively, We are a microcosm of the issues in the Niger Delta in the macrocosm. Today,
Nanu Kosino, a Nigeria for no omu microcosm in the macrocosm. Into Utia, I'll say they are a microcosm.
Before to siphon monies, we suffer what we call political axivia nunan torum. Conclusively, we are a microcosm of the issues in the Niger Delta in the macrocosm.
They are a microcosm of the issues in the Delta, in the Delta region. Our macrocosm. Now the all can say, yeah, microcosm, entatia. Sebio eyedien ekronumun sama kesi adoria ye jinem macrocosm ne kasiem ba ye ne entatia yeti eyedien kuraba kasiem into microcosm in the macrocosm or patch a delta state no macrocosm kuraba kasie enomo eyedien entatia omoda kuraba kasiem into we are the microcosm in a delta state macrocosm. What you say? Into microcosm is in the macrocosm. That means that in Kitwano Eda Akesium, there soon and a chinketwari. Ha, and then I know what you know. Now, all the baby, no, and Sunny Atwaso or say.
Before of the issues in the Niger Delta in the macrocosm. Today, we as a people are stating, Voxe Populi, Voxe Dei.
Or say, and Yenny, Nigeria for. Ye catch the Ghana for say nipa dodo na no asem eno ene onyankopon ana abosom no anu asem enti insema na okanyina nko betima kan 1 minute say enuanom de aban no eya ode ne nsa efrafra ye nsemu ema nyoma ye ho kire ya omudo mo sika abo ye sika semu ma ye twa edwadwo ma ye ho kire ye a ye nipa ye ni obi kan ya asem ma ye a ende Delta State nsema abeya ye nkitwa gine ma ye ntumi ndi ye hu onyame ene enim se na asem ene ye asem ko betima kan sa bo onim so mo tie kire ye MPP for omako school akwa kira JSS omo agimi ene ntino oye political jobas. And into no yeah Union Torom, and into no yeah France Pananian dictum, and into use word with acrimony, and into use points with a political jobas, or you sue a microcosm, or you sue political asinium Nunan Torom, on him some way Jimmy, and even about Bawumia the MPP for no. And no, and about Bawumia at the MPP for no. Onim so ka kire somwe Jimmy omonti ase enti obeka ne se mukai John Mahama mukai NDC si ye 93,733 na momiento enim enko enim. Now this is a story I want to remind the Commissioner General of GRA. Commissioner General of GRA should understand, and this goes to the Finance Minister Ato Forsen. The Commissioner General of GRA, your name is Mr. Anthony Kwesi Sapo. Makacho, you are not a politician, but you have been given a political appointment, and that appointment can be taken from you. Time and now work KPMG, you know. We saw the job you did. But if you are going to be corrupt, if you are going to deliberately help some custom officers, they have political, criminal background, they don't deserve to be where they are, you have to make sure you do the right thing. And this goes to the Finance Minister, because the decision you took about bringing back corrupt custom officers back to Tema and the headquarters, you took that decision with the Finance Minister to Forsen. Now, this customs officer, Augustine Ata Edubofo, now or a CRO, which is Chief Revenue Officer. Aban Sisaya Yabeya Wo, Commissioner General, you actually transferred this guy to Koforidua. And when you sent him to Koforidua, any 2 weeks, and I want Finance Minister Tana say SR calling and say on Samra. This man has a lot of things on him. We all know. Watina port for 12 years. Port Now the information I am picking is that when I made a statement on this your decision, this your corrupt decision, you have moved this man to the headquarters, keeping the same position as the post-clearance officer. Take him from there. This guy has been involved in Lexus thefts. The OSP is investigating him. This guy was involved in La Bianca scandal. Move that guy from the headquarters. Makachiro, if you want to be happy, do what is right. Mr. Anthony Kwesi Sapon. Omoya Commissioner General, people did not like it. People like us sat here and said, because of the job you did at KPMG, Yetina Chief Suka say, you can do this job. Do not allow politicians to infiltrate. The little respect at the office one that belief the president had in you, keep it and stop abusing your office. This guy should be moved away from the headquarters today. Ochina, he's not supposed to come there. If you want to rock shoulders, from Ochina, you see the dirty part of me. And I want you to call your friend the finance minister. We are not going to entertain any nonsense again. We are here to protect this government, to make sure John Mahama leaves a legacy. No president in Ghana, apart from Kwame Nkrumah, we can compare to. Because you, Mr. Edian Sapon, I never saw you on any stage campaigning for the NDC. But because of expertise in Tina John Mahama Dokoshe Edian as the Commissioner General of GRA, do not start this nonsense. Pull the guy to Koforudia. He's not supposed to stay in Accra. He's not supposed to be in the headquarters. Take Augustine Atta Edufor back to Koforudia. Because he's not better than anybody in Koforudia. He's not supposed to be in Accra. Take him back to Koforudia. Because you cannot sit there and tell me, say, oh no, or you're better than Omo Koforudia. Take Augustine Atta Edufor back to Koforudia. And today is your last day. I am telling you, today is your last day. And I'm telling the finance minister, today is the last day. Edubofor is not supposed to come to headquarters. He's not supposed to be at Tema. Edubofor needs to be at Koforudia because you issued a transfer letter to him. I don't want to be publishing transfer letters here. I don't want to get dirty. I am protecting the government. I am trying to protect this country. And if you don't want problems, I know, say, your integrity is very important to you. Ochinanopa, I have eyes at the headquarters. I don't want to see Edubofor there. Give him back his transfer letter and let him go back to Koforudia. Or else you will not like me. All right. Now, Mahmoud Bawumia make a statement to me. And before we speak on that statement, as I said, the President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, and the Okasa a year UN General Assembly meeting. And Okansembe I think I'm going to play a few of his statements, na me dwudwam ye na Bawumia aka statement bi na ma correct Bawumia because Bawumia no oyetrofo into oman too much room ana oman too much chain one hwa wate chain no ko into right now no ye the chain ato 9 but still or pressure be free chain nim into me ba be board John Mahama nsem bi o kan o UN in there na me nya abotre dwudwam magana for ehu the president ne kan ye na ma react to Bawumia insema waka. This is the President of the Republic. Oka kasebi efa eye Palestinian for any Jew for ana Israel for ntokwa na omokono and yehu aman for ana aman penny for bebria omko UN they were running away from the subject. John Mahama basically today spoke on the issue and was concerned about the humanitarian part of it. Ono bebiana okasa free no anasa the point no eye emma enkwara sebio omo both side especially omo more Palestine ye ku omo e wo say ye make sure say sebio ebi mo ha omo nka kono ho inti aman penifo mo wiase nyina they need to understand say it's about time we call a spade na yenka no kure no na sebio omo ayeku mo Palestinian fo kuro nim no omo nso no ye nyina yakasa ama emma enkwara ene sebio emrewa omo nka okuo no ho no so omo ho ato omo we John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana.
The denial of visas to President Abbas and the Palestinian delegation sets a bad precedent and should be deeply worrying to all member nations of the United Nations. Ghana recognized the state of Palestine in 1988 and supported a two-state solution to the conflict since then. And I say, contrary to the claims of some, a two-state solution would not be a reward for Hamas. It will rather be a reprieve for the hundreds of thousands of innocent women and children and people who are facing collective punishment and forced starvation for no reason other than the fact that they are Palestinian. For nearly 2 years and for the fear of reprisals, we here in this General Assembly have been playing hide and seek with language to find the right words to help us avoid or excuse what we all know is taking place in Gaza. But here's the thing, it doesn't matter what you call it. If it looks like a duck, it swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, well, then it must be a duck. The crimes in Gaza must stop.
President John Dramani Mahama and the Ekasa Ewo UN General Assembly no Omani clear actually ewiase eye impenifo nyina say entokwa ekoso ewo Gaza eye Palestinian folk krom no eye ntokwa bia e wo se nyina kasetia sebio Ghana eye oman a Palestine folk krom no yenso yagitum se eye kro na o se amam penifo ni bi aye o madwene se so ebeka san ntokwa no ho asem a also make sure say ntokwa no mo kan ho asem no eye ensiesi a ebeboa Palestinian fo no enye se bia o makogina afa bi na omoma Palestinian fo no eho e kire omo o se de yakura wo mu ni se UN eye General Assembly aye hie eye Palestinian fo panyini a oda no a se bi onka so no so ba America ebeka na no asem ene de ni kuro ekomu a ende ye deny ne visa wentumi ba America no o se eno kura na ya efise sa asem asi na se afa baako tumi ba beka na asem na afa baako no de ye dina ni panyini se ombra beka na asem a na je se ye nyanka se ye UN no ye ntumi endi no kura enkyere ye ho ye ntumi enka no kura enkyere ye ho oye nipa bi asebio ogina Ghana fo anem Palestinian kuro ye kuro bi asebio nipa omuwo mu no ehia no enkwara embrewa impenifo ene ekuro no ankasa no ehia no the same as ekuro bi ewo asase su bi ehia no enti sa asema ba na se ekuro mienu enya entokwa e wo se ye make sure se obi aka na asema yetie se ne be ya nyina betuma atena se na ya pa bebi a asem no nokoreda na ya tea de odi bone ene de odi bem nanso yeka obi ekasabo ahye ne yem na ye ma nipa bi eye o madwene se omo betumi atietia Palestinian for de fa hodie hu a ono de as the president of Ghana no ne ninje ho o ka akire UN for se won se sebio amotie bi ba se won se ne ti ho aye hyen se won se wiitua na no se won se o fake accent se won se sa nipa no ommu nipa se won se sa nipa no oye nipa bi a oye tuturani se won se sa amotie no oye tum so wo je samotia no sebio ne katire mebutu se samotia ne nipa bi a sebio ne nigi sika ho ne nigi kro ho a na se wo hu ne ye na oba o se wa adwene bu se samotia no ye kufuado o se when it walks like a duck when it swims like a duck o se eye bibi sa na se wo hu se eba o se bibi e ka kire o se wo hu amotia no na musumu ba na o etia wo amotia na se ne tiri ho ehyen wo amotia no na se sebio ne nigi sika sam ho samotia no epewi Samotia ni munipa, Samotia no fake accent. Samotia Samotia ne ba no muna, na sebe Samotia no oetia. Enye obi na also catch up Samotia ni ekufuado. Into se amampenifo ni nyina yentena se na yandwene ma yadwene nkwa ekire hu se sa anamon na UN itu no ya anamon bia Ghana ene ewiasa fa ni nyina etia. Mr. President esa ekasafa eye ebibiri mu ha anase eye Africa.
It has famously been written that past is prologue. Well, in the past, the majority of the 54 nations that now comprise Africa were never offered a seat at the table where plans for a new world order were being drawn. But, Madam President, as fate would have it, the tables are turning, and Africa's role in the authorship of whatever is yet to come for this world is going to be huge, and it will be consequential. According to this organization's own projections, by the year 2050, more than 25% of the world's population is expected to come from the African continent. Additionally, by 2050, 1/3 of all young people aged between 15 to 24 will be residing on the African continent. So you see, the future of this world is African. Allow me to say this once again a little louder for those of you in the back. The future is African. Already today, Africa is a catalyst for human potential and development, as well as for economic reform and ecological stability. Africa is a catalyst for systemic change. If this reality, which is fact-based and straightforward, seems provocative or unsettling, perhaps it's because you are viewing it through the lens of centuries of filters, colonialism and imperialism, and the resulting implicit bias. Maybe you are unaware of the resilience of African nations or their remarkable ability to make a strong comeback just when you think it's safe to count them out. That is what is happening right now in my own country, Ghana.
Mr. President, take us and I'll say, Mu Mweshebo UN Hangina, Beso Catchere, a Ewiasi, any UN in Pedifuna, we shall say, a Dachino, on your Bruni, Dachino, on your Chinese knee, Dachino, and your day, Caucasian, or said Dachino, a Bibini, or free Bibi for Krum, or your African. Or say Dachina, Yehunwaha, Yatiha, yes, sir, in some way I was here cano, and this obia etoto, Africa, and I say Ebu Africa nimtia, or say, or share a mebuno, senior omaji penny, say, in the years to come, about to me, I done a wiase, yina, a baby see a day, a bibrim, and as Africa conhono, or say, or GDA, na ebeye UN. Any areasi nyina wan say in the next year and I say in fear edi anim no areasi nyina ba begina Africa kon ho na sabio said nipa bi wa ha ana nipa bi wo wiase na so mu bu Africa nimtia ana bomfia ono John Dramani Mahama oka say the future and I say sabio daachi na dey anim no say daachi no hia na busan say wo free hia obeka say me ye bibrim ni me ye Africa ni. If you say when it comes to a wiase inkabom and chechiriye a de a abefo a broni a de science and a wiase the new worlder or say African be di anim. If you say onu we hu and a won say a Africa no bibia e ma a wiase bia na ho ne free na oto ne num tuo e wo UN aka kire mpedifo bo ho nyina say memma omondwene ho da say obi bebu a de African nimtia. And I say obebu Africa de bomfia na mbebunu na omoba no ye mbebunu bi a omai sakra omadwene agipene say omodi ewiase ebesi obokon ho adane ewiase ma eye ewiase nyina abegina eye Africa so into osakan ye osesa mekan na mo ante a se bi ebia mo amu echiro no mo ante daachi wiase no daachi mpuntuo no ye be frɛ ne say eye den bibrim anase African if you say ono de ogidi na oji Kwame Nkrumah so di na oji eye ebibifo mbeburu di se eye Ghana Africa ye nyina ye ebibifo no ye de wiase ebesi e kon ho na enche na asema oken o se debi ene ye de ne bo ebema no John Dramani Mahama esa ka bibifa eye how ene asohia Africa for ye fem.
We'll continue to welcome foreign investment, but we must negotiate better for a bigger share of the natural resources that belong to us. And we must insist on value addition to these resources. We're tired of the continued image of poverty-stricken, disease-ridden rural communities living at the periphery of huge foreign-controlled natural resource concession areas. We're tired of having people extract the most they can from us and in return offer us the very least by way of respect, consideration, and dignity. We're tired of not being represented in ways that reveal the richness and complexity of our history or acknowledge all that we have overcome to arrive here in this liminal space of untold possibilities.
O say, on the Ojama catcher, a wiasi nyina, any penny for Mushia, say Africa, ya dear. So why you say on your baby did juma? Ye be your coin, ye be your pono. Anyone can come and invest in Africa. But so simudia, say imbredu. Say or say a wiasity asye say oba na oni ebedi dwuma yene agudie yene agapade de yete no e wo say yene ene ye kirew de wo so fa ene de wo say ka ye ho o say imredu say ye bema ewiase ate asye say sa eye de edin na omode atu yeso say ye ho kire e kom da ye so ye de ye yankofo bi a ya pratete ye ni enimonyam no o say sa de no e wo say twam efiri say ewiase nyina no e koso no nyina no e ye gudie ene mfaso a amaya wo wiase enya free Africa na yesi a no se ye ni Africa so ye beka ye to atwon na emom yanka se mo bia ne ye mbe adwuma na wo bo utirim se oni eba be ye adwuma e wo so tie ase se adwuma dia oni ebedi no mfaso kese no e wo se eka ye ho o se imra na edu se imra duru se eye imbibrem for eba Africa se omuni ebedi edwa ensa wo so a e wo so omni she omutirim se enya ade a omoba abenya omo adi sebio meka so mu adi a ebetwa yedi anase omobubu ya faso se ye ne ubedi dwuma ye ne ubedi dwuma e wakomapem na so ye ne wundi dwuma anase ye ne wo enko eye de adwumadiem abra ye ho be kire ye o se edum pempenso a wo se wiase ti ase se Africa na ye ka kire sebio broni ana se ebia abrofo a omadwene am se ye Africa fo bia ye titi nnua so ekom de ye ni bebi te ye ho kyere ye ni nsunum no ose saa nyoma no e wo se ende esutwa every say yene ebibrimfo de ye wono abrofo no mu nibi enti se man amaju som ne ebe adwuma monti ase se dwuma dia mu ne ebedi no emu mfaso kase no ye beka ye to atwem ama na kai krom eno ena na John Dramani Mahama ejina UN General Assembly e ka cha abrofo ni nyina se omfa nto omtirim ono de odo obia te sa Kwame Nkrumah obia ne obia ndi dwuma mbom nanso mema obi enya na adwene se obetumi etwi obi edi anase obetumi afa koti kwan so afa obi egudie anase age obi nsem sika ana age Africa ni bia di nsem sika ose nyoma asesa John Mahama eka bibi fa eye Ghana oye president sebio ye economy ene se ne nyoma so eko ha ode eye emfato ho ema Africa fo ene ewiase mpanifo nyina hu se so mo peso mo hu se Africa ya ba bedru bebi mpempenso bia ye nyanka se betuma hwe ye ho ye betumi atoto ye nyoma age ye kuresi wo ama sebio ye mbabunu ye mba ene ye mbema enya bebi agina ose obese ewiase ti ase se time obeji eye dey afena so obedi president of Ghana the second time ya the first time no or say ehona wabeji edi say ye Africa for imbibremu fo a ye betumi adane ye kra ye betumi asesa ye hyebre o ye betumi a reset dey Africa no or the Ghana ye mfato ho e no cheche mu kire abrofo no say de wetumi aye de na aban krampo etumi aye in this short 8 months I will be the president senior awokeka every onwane party mu Ghana for mabunu ene Ghana for omaji atum say omo bedi dwuma abo omoman no ene ye sika sam senior na asai tama na MPP wo so a wo motumi ye nyina tumi adane Ghana na mine no mana be gina baby papa ama ende dum so ni ho ende ye sika sam afa ne tuma pefra ende Ghana obi hu se ye nyoma ekoye no o se eno ene hye na rehemu ema ewiase nyina hu se Ghana je yetumi aya ende Africa betuma ye John Dramani Mahama.
Right, so piao asajifo Kevin Tailor bimaba piao emuniyo. In fact, Yamishraw Kevin Tailor di nyana so sabi no ewo krom ha nka MPP be guntem so because MPP for sisi ye ho suban no sisi every Ghanaian nka kra Ghana fo nyina den ehu MPP for suban nka kra gradually sisi Ghana fo nyina den ehu MPP for the kind of personalities they are and the kind of behavior that they carry. They are all having one behavior, which is hypocrisy and what lies and trunkwa. Now one thing about the whole thing is omun saying bunipa. Think I go for the pan of deal my wiswa. Hey. Kabana by now can baby a Ghana now. Imagine say Bawumia pana in Ujina you in General Assembly and Okasa. Hey, and the work as a winimo. Kawanka sa winim. It in Kabomia bit mania that kind of boldness. Akasa. I can credit a chabro from said your John Mahama to me again. Maybe some. It's sad. In the MPP at this time now. Pertaining ya konobio. Winjo mutan Kevin Tailor no. Or can occur their show. I dream them people for team no. The Ghana for munim number tam Ghana the MPP for Ijabetumbu Krum. I'm telling you. It's mama yenye den. Young value where they are now. Yenye den. Young value where they are. Opposition no. Na your mom kawa. And before you be in opposition. for so long because we Ghana for abroad, and still you haven't regretted. You've been more mujinous in peace. Bawumia no much pacho, almost fake apology. No, now you will be this doctor. You'll be trimmed so non cancer apology. No, look at arrogance, look at hypocrisy. We none of Mobu abai, and on one or yet a banimu sim papayini. On one hour yet the senior most person in that government, or in that governance, about one chabe pachawa. Because of the also president didn't say one can't chop and come go for a cramba bunting because non cancer chop and because Bawumia Bonidi was a vice president position, and now they would descend the bar down. But I do cheap because of so no so president didn't also no sa apology no Bawumia on count. And Gaba Pakili de Japan, no crano, Sebi, hash, winning so, apapai, which me can I be not any tay beauty shall be an honor baby or nimbu of a canadi. And Capapai ma, or no crammaker says, I'll pull it in a Bawumia man on Kahua, because in Biffy second de Japan catch them before saying no more yen, or more fail, and Ghana for will never what forgive the Mekai. Occasions they have lost the election, Kennedy Japan permo cancer no corino. Papa Kennedy or cancer no corino, and the children before non and colleagues. It in come no cram mecam case, oh, say apology na Bawumia mind the ononka. Now we are what to trim. Country, and I can't sing, said an Kevin Tailor. I mean, Buru Kevin Tailor, and teasing West be. Country, Mr. Country. Hey, ura. And the old crime here will negative zero crowunya. Oh, they do anymore. Negative zero crowunya. Because Ghana for the first time. So to make us will be a patch or watch up and one count. And you know, education ministry for one hand deal on a year. Only the poor, we say education ministry ho. If we actually the problem we invite, running meet for Bawumia. Education, directorate, no. Executive member one things on one penny so. Muka is awesome. Emma, Moka chair, and people for say, person na po. On year running meet Bawumia no month for about more dear. Napo should come out and apologize because Napo and Gaza were teaching for nice education ministry ho. Napo fee and it's on Mukoji 38.1 the bepe on baby tonight. Dear can went here. And there was a war. The question me woman say MPP4 on Beba Abemuna check. By a canon, 90 for Muja trim dinner. And this for more ye drama. Because a mobetina Bawumia a mojuma mobe. Papa John Mahama, near brew papa, near brepa, say Obama Ghana, age 9 so. It is a we appoint you, CEO, we minister, we are party executives. That's a woman, person, Obama, party, na couldn't Obama, or mine, I couldn't anymore. I know dear. One a wow, because yes, I Ghana for it didn't any woeful Ghana, she. And Kadia Mahama, no. Way back in 2015, 2014, 2012, I did before Jihu got over Tiano, Makufadwa, and this is here within 8 years. You bought seeing folk for name BPI, Yasan Mahama, son, number, and Mahama, a one day. And the Montana and among being home. They didn't a bagana for Tima, the Tutia Mahama in 2016. I name so again as Yabu Tima, Yasan Atwama Mahama. Just think about it. Then and this for Mumma Mutrimun de Bibre, Mummutim de P. One chill, you can chill, but make sure you won't freeze because no freeze you kruma. Yedi ababe bomb so ama mana I'm telling you no korpa na meka kire mo no yepe mo asem John Mahama mo money sense for papa ni abre papa ba hwe ni nima enra na me hwe video bi very so kwa achi also no since Mahama wo to abade man no e didn't see so 7th of January from early of this month BC enam no kase papa ni nya home ampa so oye adwuma because omodi Ghana e hye ne nsa no na light you problem light and the light na gina omodi Ghana e hye ne nsa na Ghana kada ho na Ghana kese nima nkoyi ene nima nkakra otum ze esi so ba yesram dollar ne de mo ma ne nko eduru 14 na mo gya na wa yesram eno de me humble appeal me sram dollar ne de mo ma ne nda 13 na 14 12 nye unia e basa mimi gina bloggers na mu ne makasa e basa emboa yesram ma ne nda 13 na 14 enti no kwasem ne se ndi saban se moyire mo ho na mo deliver na mo kofa obi o nipa akim kra be candidate. It is easily for you to win the election, but moyire mo ho na se mo tena se na mo anye de wo se moye na eduru within 1 year na mo pese moye hurry up na moye ye nyama wi a and then I meet analysis bi and I was like, hey, no good. I think that this video no cry by Solomon Owusu and Ivan. Man chichi sanko phone prosecute omo within this from this year kwa Nesia. Na mutedi and musi mama sa mo forget it. Because the whole na Ghana for see baby some de mobile na mukasa mo be no mai. Anya fee and a mobile chichi wi no be na da ben na munya time aye de aye mpuntuduma. Inti mu wa chichi bi amunye ne tem. Ene na me hwe list bi se of Japa or Hinfa of Monacha no one Muslim Krum ha din too much. Munti bin tum na shall say yo. Since I could feel Palukoba young who be abda or Kobaya a bronya so called dinner quati a bronya class was a bit no you did the move to me go you for Piam Mumpanim Pajase a bronya Casabi moon what I say. Remonata ura oni Japa mo Hinfa Krum ha din too much. MPP for no more did Krum ha din as a MPP from people. Masa moon kona moon koye what I say, money be for because Mom say, Mona watch your man on one tom. Come on. Salam Mustafa and the bin and was make I say scandal be a born of Mustafa or African games, I got die, Mustafa, sports minister then, Monko Cheno, because on the home, Sika Dibia, Cospona Kachi. Tigana no de. And people for one count, you see, Mono, I just some leaders, Mary Seti, I just a Bawumia, a film crowd so near not being so be flag bearer bill. Maybe a sad Ghana for the chance, Bawumia, oi pa. How near Kufa the Bibu of my way to a party. Don't forget it. Diamond, why? Diamond now. Says someone there, I won't forget it because young Fagana and Mamma. Young Famamu. So I don't comment session. Misha, bye bye.